What's up, PG? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, Gibby? Wa alaikum salam. Hustle, how you doing? No, actually, I haven't started yet. I'm actually, I brought my father to the hospital because he needs to get a second procedure done on his back. So after they give you that shot, they put anesthesia and stuff, like general. Well, I don't know if it's general. I think it's general. But anyway, because they put anesthesia, after that procedure, you can't really drive, because you'll still be under the influence of the anesthesia. So I brought him to the hospital. I'm waiting for them to finish. They haven't even started yet. So I came to the car to charge the phone for a little bit. They haven't even called him in. The first time I brought him, it was a long process, bro. Long process. How you guys doing today? I'm good, bro. Alhamdulillah. You started business already, Hustle? So let's see how the other account is doing. The Shawn The Muslim 2. Easy, what's up? Early morning. Early morning. So we have 19 people. That's not bad, considering the fact that we're shadow banned on here. We have 19 people on the other channel, alhamdulillah. Just need about 45 more or something like that. No, not 45 more. Well, 25 more. 25, 30 more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for him and grant him prompt recovery. I mean, thank you, Gibby. Appreciate it. How's the day going for you, Gibby? It's doing super slow. Venezuelans arrived like a week ago. Bro, I'm telling you. I don't remember. You only do the deliveries, right? Hustle. Bro, yesterday was good. Yesterday was good. I cleared 200 yesterday. But that's because there was some Taylor Swift concert. And I know there's some people when there's like shows and concerts, what they do is they hang around the concert place, drivers, and they'll ask people, oh, Uber, and they want to do it like outside the app. But I don't take that risk, bro. Only deliveries? I don't take that risk because they did an operation here a couple of months ago. But they did it at the airport, undercover police soliciting drivers. And if you take the bait, they take you to jail because it's illegal. You're not supposed to be soliciting outside of the app, right? Unless you have some private license or something, But most of the drivers, they don't, right? So they were taking these people to jail, and then you got a ball now. It's probably gonna be like 500. So it's not worth it, right? But they ran that little operations thing here in Miami International Airport. They were busting people left and right, drivers. So I don't take that risk anymore, bro. Well, I never did actually. I never took that risk. But I'm saying it's not worth taking the risk. Get 9K right when they cross. Oh yeah? That's crazy, bro. This administration, this is the consequence of this administration, bro. They're bad on every front. Immigration, economy, you name it. Good morning, Gigi. How are you? You hear that, Gigi? If you come in illegally through the border, they're going to give you 9K. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Wa alaikum salam, James. How you doing, Aki? Imagine that. In other words, if you come in here, how you doing, Shalita? You listening to this, Shalita? If you come in here illegally, you cross the border, they give you 9K. So think about that. If your first action is breaking the law to get into our country, we will reward you by giving you $9,000. Bro, this is insanity. This is like a clown world we're living in right now. We will pay you to come in illegally, which means you're breaking the law. That's what's happening. There's laws, right? Supposedly, every country has laws, entry laws, right? So you're breaking the law to come in, to migrate illegally, and we're going to reward you by giving you $9,000. But we have veterans in the street that are homeless and people, citizens that are struggling. And endless money for war for Israel and Ukraine. Gabby said, if that's true, I'm visiting you then. You coming in? Just buy a flight to Mexico, Gabby. That's all you gotta do. Flight to Mexico, coming through the border, boom, you get 9K, you go back home. At that point, give me 9K and I'll leave Florida. You want to get paid to leave, right? Pay holidays. Bro, these people are... That's crazy. This country is going to crap, bro. It has gone to crap already. Meanwhile, Russia's economy is growing, despite of all the sanctions that these people have put in place. Their economy is actually growing. I was reading reports about this yesterday. Groceries are full of stuff. They're just bringing in things through a different means. That's crazy. Countries like Russia, China, Iran, they're uniting. In North Korea, they're uniting, right? Yeah, we have coalitions of countries too that were united, right? But countries that were before were a little bit cold with each other. Not that they were completely hated each other, but there were a little bit of tension between them. Now they're like, no, we're coming together. And they're coming together to fight the United States. Not necessarily like on a war, like a physical war type of thing. They're coming together to fight things like embargo, to fight things like, things like trade and stuff like this. Because we have this idea that we think that we can just sanction the world to smithereens and they're gonna comply and they're gonna just adopt our way of democracy. It's not how it works. It hasn't worked with Cuba and they're 90 miles away. All this happening is that the people are starving, dying for years. For what, 50, 60 some years? That's all. The people are dying and starving. That's all. The government is still there. Same exact government. So this idea that we can sanction and strongman our way into like another country adopting our way of democracy, it hasn't worked. It didn't work in Iraq. It hasn't worked in Cuba. We're 90 miles away from here, from the Florida Keys. 90 miles away. Cuba is closer to the United States than Orlando. You can get to Cuba faster than you can to Tampa and Orlando. Tampa is like 200 miles from here, just to give you an idea, right? In a blackout, the government cut the island power. Yeah, but Cuba has been experiencing blackouts since forever, since before I was born. This is like normal over there. The thing is now people are protesting because I think it's becoming longer and longer and longer periods of time. Everything's becoming more difficult, right? So, but it's always been difficult in Cuba. Not always, since Castro situation came in, since he came to power. But they've been in this situation for many years, 50 plus years. So it's nothing new that they get blackouts and things like this. It's just people are fed up, you know. And in part is because of the sanctions from the United States, right? And the thing is that Cuba doesn't have resources to offer other countries, right? They have nothing. They used to have back in the day tobacco, and they used to have sugar canes fields and stuff like this, right? They don't have nothing to trade. You know, they have nothing to give in exchange, right? So, for example, Cuba and Russia have a good relationship. How you doing, Islamic way? Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Wa alaikum salam. How are you? So Cuba and Russia have good relationships, right? But Cuba doesn't have anything to give. Cuba has one thing to give. This is what they're good at. Medicine. So when it comes to medicine, doctors, they have some of the best doctors in the world. Believe it or not. Like, probably number one. As weird as that may sound, because they have, no resources. So Cuba will, like right now, Cuba just, they said the president, who he's a dictator too, but he's offering, because he's standing with Palestine, he's offering 200 free, well, medicine over there is free anyway. Nobody can afford to go to school over there. It has to be free. They can't even afford to buy bread. You think they're going to be afford schooling? So it's free because it's communism. And because otherwise, then nobody, if it's not free, then nobody would go to school because nobody could afford it. So, but what they're offering to 200 Palestinians is the opportunity to go study over there, to become doctors. We go back to studying 4 years if you were 24 while working full time. No. If I could go back and do college, I wouldn't. I left college. College is a waste of time. Unless you're trying to become like a doctor or a lawyer, something like this, that you absolutely need college. If not, what are you in college for? There are people in Harvard that just graduate, or law. Yeah, right. Law. Okay. There's certain fields that requires you to go to college. There's no way around it, right? But these are fields that you need to be fully, these are fields that you need to have your heart in it. If you try to become a doctor for the money, you're gonna have a miserable life. People that are doctors, they have to love the profession. You know? If you're trying to become a lawyer for the money, you're gonna have a miserable life, because that's a very stressful job with like high. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of crap. So if you become a lawyer, you really have to like being a lawyer. You have to like it. Doctor, same thing. All these professions that are reward you good for going to college, you better like them. Like, you better be like, this is what I want to do in life. I just love medicine. I love and I care. Like, you got to wake up in the morning like, yes, I'm going to work. Because if you're doing it for the money, these are jobs that required a lot of attention, a lot of like, time of studying, a lot of learning, a lot of preparation. Like, you see a lot of what's a hot career here for the girls, for the ladies, is nurses, right? You see all these girls, nursing. That's nice, but you see a lot of them, they're like miserable. They're like burned out all the time because they don't like their job. They're doing it because it pays. They heard, my friend became a nurse, and so they went through nursing school. Girl, you go through nursing school, and then you get paid this much and that much. And so when they just do it for the pay, they get burned out later. It's like they're just miserable all the time and exhausted all the time. I've known like 2 or 3 nurses like this. Years and study till 28 and get my papers. You want to do law university? If you like it, then yeah, 100% do it. If you're like I want to be a lawyer because that's what I like I'm passionate about it. 100% do the 4 years, whatever time you need, 4 6. You need to take a bar exam or something. Do whatever you need. I'm just saying, some people that just do this for the money is a big mistake, especially with this careers like lawyers, doctors. What else? What's another lawyer, doctor, engineers? What else? Yeah, things like this. Bro, I was watching a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. Lawyer and doctor just willing to lose it all before gaining anything because they'll take you. Hmm. Exactly. It's a long wait to the top, you could say. So that's what I'm saying. If you're imagine if you're just doing it for the money, bro, you're gonna quit. You're gonna quit because if your heart is not in it, you're just doing it for the money, bro. That's a lot to put up with for 8 to 10 years. Then you're gonna be doing that forever, and you're not even passionate about it. Because after a while, you're gonna be making some good money. I know because my mother works with a doctor. She's been working with a doctor for like 16 years, right? And he has a practice. His brother has a practice. It's like a family thing. They work together. They love their job. They make good money. They make really good money, right? But they love their job. So the guy's never. He's never angry. Not angry. He's never like miserable, because he looks forward to waking up and going to his job. And they're great people. And they've turned into like a family business. The brother's a doctor. The sister works there too. He's a doctor. They love what they do. They didn't just do it for the money. The money's like secondary to them. But because they love it and they put in the time and they went through the whole thing, now they make good money and they're doing something they love. Alhamdulillah. Isn't a step the first step when you're bachelor? Alhamdulillah. Can get in university, your study. If it's what you love, man, do it. Guys, if you can, please, if you haven't, subscribe to my second channel because I'm gonna be streaming on there once we get to 50. I'm at 19. Shawn the Muslim, number 2. Shawn the Muslim 2. That's it. It's this one. So if you put at Shawn the Muslim 2 on the search bar, it's gonna come up. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's the one, Gibby. Thank you. Appreciate it. After that, I can get to university. Lawyer and doctor just be lose it all. Oh yeah. But other than that, bro, I would not go to college for nothing. For what? What else are you going to college for? Honestly, we're not living in the time that we used to before, bro. Back in our grandparents' time, yeah, back then you could go to college, get your degree, make so and so. You could afford a house back then. Things had some normality as far as payment wise back then. I'm not saying they didn't have their struggles; they did. But if you worked hard, you went to school, this was applicable back then. Now, it hasn't been like that. It stopped being like that for a long time, actually. A while back, it stopped. College stopped working for people for a long time, unless you're in those fields. But other than that, it's not the same. We don't live in the same times anymore, bro. A lot of people with college university degrees can't find jobs, bro. From Harvard, they can't find jobs. They're overqualified. Like they just can't find jobs. So now you're in college debt, university debt, and you can't even find a job. What? This wasn't the case back in the day, bro. 15, 20 years ago, this wasn't like this. And part-time for people to work. That's one thing that fits my situation. Nice. Working shifts. And I have 12 free days a month. Sorry, what's the topic? How you doing, Hassan? We're just talking about how certain jobs, uh, if it's worth going to college or not, you know? And I was saying that there's certain jobs that requires you to go to college, like doctor, engineer, lawyer, things like this, right? But you better be passionate about these things, because if not, it's you're gonna have a dreadful freaking life doing these things after if you're not passionate about it. One, you might not finish it. Second, if you do finish it, it's like, okay, now you're making money. You're making good money, but you're stuck doing something you're really gonna hate for a long time. Who was the person that there's several people that have left the career of doctor. That guy from The Hangover, the Chinese guy, Mr. Chow. He used to be a doctor. Then you have Ben Carson. He was a brain surgeon. He left that and became involved in politics. Then you have who else? There was somebody else. There was a doctor. What's his name? Bassem Youssef? Yusuf Bassem? Yusuf Bassem? He used to be a doctor too, and then he went into the comedy field. It's a long road, yeah. So you gotta really like it. You gotta love it. So I'm not qualified to speak. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even matter. High school it's bull crap too. What is high school? High school does not prepare you for life. High school does not prepare you for an economy. High school doesn't. High school. This is what high school is. High school is a time from what 14, 15 to 18. High school is it's the time to keep a teenager occupied until they become an adult. That's all it is. That's all high school is. That's why I'm never gonna get on my kid because he has bad grades in high school. I might get on him because I'm gonna tell him, listen, this is garbage, but if you don't pass it, you're gonna be stuck in the same garbage next year. So the incentive to get through this garbage is to pass it every single time. Now, if you want something after you graduate, if you want to go to college for something that you found that you love, 100%, put everything into it. But I'm not gonna punish my kid because he got a C in high school. No, sir. This is all garbage. This is all keeping him or her occupied until they become an adult. What happens when you turn 18? You don't have to go to college. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, because the legal age of adulthood is 18, right? There has to be a threshold. It's 18. And now the government does not give a damn. Actually, they don't want you to go to college. They want you to become a worker in the economy. Do whatever. Work at here, work there. They don't really want you to go to college. Because the less money you make, the more dependent one way or another you're gonna become on the government. Right? You're gonna be in the hamster wheel. You'll be in the hamster wheel. Wa alaikum salam, Aki. How you doing? Yeah, that's if you want to do something that requires some sort of skills that has been set by the government. But to me, high school is always a waste of time, really. If anything, it could be useful for the child to say, you just can't fail these things. You must pass every time. But not, not you have to pass this because this is going to guarantee your future. Future. Nobody learns anything in high school that's going to help them make money in any way. There's nothing, even economy class back in high school. I remember this was in 11th grade or 10th or 12th grade, one of the two. They taught nothing on how to make money. Nothing that they taught to anybody there taught you how to make any money in the real world. There's nothing in high school for you. It's a time that they keep you busy while you're a teenager until the age of you're an adult. Now you do whatever you want. Like, you don't have to go to school. That's it. You're 18. Why? Because the law said so. Okay. So do you care if No, you don't have to go to college. So what the hell was that I just did from 9th to 12th? Because before I came into 9th grade, I already knew how to write and read and all these things. So then, what was one of the classes? English? Well, I already knew how to read. So what are we doing here? I already knew how to read and comprehend since I was like, what, 4th grade or something like this? So math, okay, I already know the basic, add, subtract, things like this. That algebra, to me, bro, I was dense when it came to algebra. Numbers and letters together, none of this. To me, all this never made any sense. I always failed these things. Even though I always failed these things, somehow I graduated high school. How do I get there? I don't remember. They had to pass me at some point. It's all a scam, bro. It's all a freaking scam. Like, let's call it what it is. It's all a scam. Algebra and me never got along. I never understood. I don't recall. You tell me right now, I'm gonna pay you $1 million to solve 2 plus B, 2B plus 2C equals whatever. What does it equal? I don't know. I'm not gonna make the money because I don't know. I don't know. None of that ever made sense to me, and I was never interested. So then you look at science. Do I recall anything in science that they taught me that was like, wow, bro, that's some dope information right there. I'm gonna take this on. I have to share this with the world. Nothing. Read this from the science book. Bro, there's nothing I recall from any of this. Probably the most beneficial class in high school was PE because I was exercising. At least I know that was good for my body. At least we know that much. It was good for my body. What's up, Andy? How are you? Where are you joining from, Andy? What else? Is there any other subject that I liked? I didn't like math, English. I'm like, what am I doing here? Because I already know how to read and write. What are we doing? Biology, never care about biology, really. Or science. What else? They had Spanish class. Cooking. There's nothing that I learned in cooking class that I'm like, oh, I didn't know how to fry an egg. Like, yeah. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. You've been here before, Andy, on the chat, or is it the first time? That test, well, we give 0 in America. That's all high school is, bro. I would require from my son to pass it. But the reasoning that I require for him to pass it is not because you have to get straight A's, because I know that's BS. The reason I will require my son to pass this without failure is so that he doesn't have to take it again. That's crazy to me, bro. Now, let's say in the early stages, like when kids are learning how to read or write, I'm okay with them like retaining them back a year if they're not up to par with the reading and writing, basic things like this, right? I'm okay with this. I'm okay with them saying, we have to hold them back if he's not up to speed with these things, basic things, reading, writing, and basic math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Yes, no problem with that. But once they learn these things, I'm gonna be giving my son no pressure. Why didn't you get an A+ in biology or algebra, bro? What? I'll be like, son, you have to pass this because I don't want you taking this again. All right? That's the only reason why I want you to pass this. This is not gonna help you in any way, shape, or form later on in the future to make any type of money. Don't stress about this. I will help you best of my ability. If you gotta get your tutor, don't stress about this, but you must pass. There's no failing it. And I think if parents went about schooling like this with their kids, they will have a better relationship with their kids too when it came to the schooling. So it's still got to get done. The job has got to get done, and it's going to be passed. You have to pass. But if you're a little bit more open with them, you have to be on their side too sometimes. You can't just be the dictator all the time. You see, kids, you have to have a balance. Some parents think that it's just my way or the highway like 100% of the time. No. Yes, the majority of the time they still have to do what you say, right? But there's a time. I think we're back now. So yeah, you can't always be the dictator with your kids. There's a time to be the dictator, and there's a time to be a kid with them also. You know, I learned this with my nieces. I have two nieces. When they were little, they were around me often, and I was like a kid with them. I was just a kid with them. Like I was goofier than them with them. 95% of the time I was around my nieces, we were laughing, having a good time. But guess what? When they wouldn't listen to their mom for any reason, not that they were bad kids, but whenever they were acting up a little bit, just like every kid, her mom will say, my sister or my mother will say to them, if you don't do that, I'm going to tell your uncle. Everything will stop. They will tell them, if you don't do that, they were going to tell me. If you don't eat that, I'm going to tell your uncle. They will eat. And you will think, why? But that's because I built a relationship with them. Of 95% of the time I was playing with them, playful like a kid. But whenever I told them something, I was strict. But that was only 5% of the time. So it would be effective because I wasn't bringing the hammer down all the time on them when they were doing something wrong. But the mom was always bringing the hammer down, so they would act up more with the mom. But with Uncle Say It, there was two things I noticed with him. When Uncle will say it, not only would they listen and do it, but there was a sense of I don't want to disappoint my uncle. There was a feel of I don't want to disappoint him because I love him so much, you know. I love him so much. He's so cool. He plays with us all the time. I don't want to disappoint him. So it was that also, right? So with kids, you can't just be hammer all the time. Hammer, only bring on the hammer when you absolutely need to, right? Absolutely need to. Otherwise, it's like, who was it that said this? There was a president that said this. There was a president that said, talk gently to people and walk with a big stick. Who said that? I gotta look it up now. Walk with a big stick and talk nicely to people. Let me see if I can find the proper quote. Theodore Roosevelt. Speak softly. The terms are derived from an aphorism which Roosevelt often said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far." That's a good quote. That's a good quote right there. I heard that like when I was like 15. I was like, this is good. That stuck with me. It's saying, you know, metaphorically, it's saying, don't be a pushover. Let people know that you have pretty much weapons to crush them, but be nice to everyone. Like, talk softly, be respectful. And if you look at that, actually, if you look at Vladimir Putin, that's what he does. Vladimir Putin is not a guy that's like imposing, like, you know, walks into the room trying to be alpha male, you know. He has good body language, good posture, right? But he doesn't come across as somebody that's gonna try to like overpower you with words. Everyone knows that they have good big weapons, even nuclear, right? Right. But if you see a lot of videos of Putin, um, for example, there was a video of him with like some of his generals, and they went up to like a table where there were like chefs and things like this, right? They had like trays with food for them to eat. And he asked the lady, "Oh, is it okay if I have one?" Right? Is it okay? Like, yeah, he waited for her to say yes. Now, he's the president of Russia. He has generals with him. He has an army and atomic bombs. But he's still asking the little old lady that baked the cookies, "Madam, is it okay if I grab one?" That's a perfect example of talk nice to people, or talk gently to people, and carry a big stick, right? That would have a different effect if same situation, but he goes up to the table like a jerk, right? He goes up to the table with arrogance and just grabs, doesn't even acknowledge the cook. Completely different. But he's aware of this. He's aware the perception is important too. How people perceive you. Doesn't mean he's a people pleaser, but just what he puts out. He's aware. He was part of the KGV from back in the day. My son would just stare out of the window in high school. You need it. It's on education. I just read all day. Yeah.
Start recording emergency video.
He's a big shaitan. Well, we have bigger shaitans in the United States right now. And we are in no position to lecture anyone about democracy. We've lost that a long time ago. With what we have been aiding in the genocide that's happening in Gaza, we have zero moral ground to lecture anyone about, morality or freedom or democracy or anything like this. So we have bigger shaitans here at the top, behind the scenes, actually. So it's a perfect example of talk nice to people and walk around carrying a big stick. What else does he do? I've seen him be gentle with like his old teacher. Things like this that he puts out that shows a different side of him, you know? Shows that he's appreciative, he cares for the elderly. He went to see another old teacher in his house, like an elderly man that was a teacher of him or something like this. Yeah, from back in the day. And these things get publicized. Have to live in Scandinavia. How was your experience in Chechnya? Chechnya is part of Russia, right? war. But who is the war against specifically? Like, what do you mean? When you say war, are you talking about the Ukraine war or before that? Against Muslims in Chechnya. Oh, okay. So the government, you're saying war? The government is at war with the Muslims in Chechnya. Is that what you're saying? The Russian government. And all Russian Muslims. So you're saying the Russian Muslims in Russia have a hard time over there? Is that what you mean? When it comes to the government, it gives the Muslims in Russia a hard time. They fight Muslims in Russia. Not good. I mean, I saw a picture. Sometimes they do publicity stunts, but I saw a video of him kissing the Quran and stuff like this, and walking around with some people that I believe were Muslims. So I don't know if it was just for the camera or what, but um, yeah, that's interesting. Gonna get something to eat. I think they should be calling my father in just about now for his procedure. Those procedures take a long time. And he can't eat nothing before the procedure. So I'm gonna get him something to eat after he's done the shot. Salam. Thank you. Inshallah, he'll be fine. They already did this procedure once. On him is a shot in his back, but they gave him like a small dose to see if it improved his condition, but it didn't much. So now they have to give him like a stronger one to take care of the problem. Shakina, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I thought there was a 7-Eleven around here, huh? I think there is. Let me get something cold to drink. Alright guys, I'll be back later on with another stream, inshallah. If you haven't, please go now and subscribe to my other channel, because when I get to 50 on there, I'm going to stream on there, because we know we're shadow banned on here. My wife is calling. Shawn The Muslim 2 is the second channel. I'll be back.